Welcome back. I should probably address what jersey I'm wearing. This is one of those starter fashion jerseys that they had in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I thought they were great. I love the starter fashion jerseys. If Fanatics wants to bring them back, and basically they were just here's jerseys for these teams in colors they never wear. So yeah, and I think Colorado's the baby blue one. I have that one as well. So if anybody's curious, if you've seen it, I have both because I think they're fantastic, showing that Colorado could do a really nice black jersey if they wanted to. All right, we're going to start off talking about Colorado in this News of the Day video. Nathan MacKinnon, his season opening home point streak hit 30 last night. He is chasing down, I believe, 40 is the record. I think Gretzky's record was 40 because Gretzky just had points every night. If you restricted Gretzky to 2 points, that was considered to be a good game because he scored more than 2 points per game. But yeah, MacKinnon's having a remarkable run. He, as well as Nikita Kucherov, and now Connor McDavid are the three-way race for the Art Ross Trophy. We'll see whether or not MacKinnon wins it, and then if whoever wins that Art Ross Trophy then has the inside track on winning the Hart Trophy as well. So we'll see how long the point streak goes for Nathan MacKinnon. So the New Jersey Devils continue to be interesting, and not for good reasons. So Tom Fitzgerald has confirmed that they're looking for a goalie on the market. The answer to that was probably, we know. He said our goaltending has not been good enough. So in changing out the coach, we'll see if anything changes. Travis Green, they were talking a lot about Alexander Holtz today because there's been a lot of debate about whether or not they're holding back Alexander Holtz in his development. And Fitzgerald also saying that basically away from the puck, the defensive play, the stuff that young players can struggle with, that's what he's been struggling with. That's why he's been stuck on the fourth line. He acknowledges that the offense is there and he's producing fine offensively when he does get on the ice, but saying that the rest of his game just means he's a little bit suspect. And yeah, so that's where we're at with Holtz. Palat, lower body injury. He will not play tonight. It looks like that one's day-to-day, not a long-term injury or anything. So again, we're around the trade deadline. We're getting close to playoffs. Officially tonight, the NHL hits the three-quarter mark in the season. So take almost every injury piece of news with a grain of salt because we just don't know what's accurate, what's not, and what they're not telling us. So Toronto, I wanted to throw this on the board because coming out of last night's game against Boston, yes, Boston won. As I said in the review last night, Boston played the best game they've played in weeks. But I think people are overestimating what this game means. I've seen a lot of articles about, well, this is how playoff hockey works. And Toronto got schooled by Boston, so this means, it's one game out of 82. The Boston Bruins had only won 3 of their previous 10 going into that game. Toronto had won, 9 out of 10 going into that? So it's one game. It's just one game. I understand the concern because it looks like Boston and Toronto are probably going to play each other in the playoffs again. But I don't think it's as big a deal as what the press is making out to be, and some fans as well. It's not just the press on this, but the whole that's it. They're gonna be done come playoff time. But Boston hasn't been a juggernaut in the playoffs the last few years either. So yep, we'll see how it all turns out. But I do think people are really zeroing in on that game as if it proves something major when it's one regular season game. It's not a series. Remember 4 years ago, before we had the bubble playoffs, Carolina doesn't want to play the Rangers. Yep, nope, the Rangers are going to be able to take out Carolina. Look what they did during the regular season. And then in the playoffs, Carolina pushed the Rangers aside in 3 straight, and it didn't matter. So regular season really doesn't mean anything once you get into a playoff series. Connor Timmins, he's been dealing with mononucleosis. He's at practice. He feels like he's turned the corner. He's getting better, getting his energy level back, and should be back in the lineup for them soon. That'd be great for Toronto. Definitely looking for more blue liners. Getting Timmins back in the lineup would help. And there's still the expectation they're going to add somebody else between now and the deadline on Friday, which is 3 days and a half an hour from now. Scott Mayfield been placed on long-term injured reserve by the New York Islanders. Got a lower body injury. He's expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks. Fashing's been activated off of IR by the New York Islanders. And if you're wondering, are they going to sell or are they not? Lou Lamoriello said no. They're not looking to subtract from the roster. If they're able to make their team better, they will. So they could very well be adding at the deadline. No expectation they're going to sell. Just it's steady as she goes. And we'll see how that works out. I mean, if for the players in the locker room, you feel better knowing that you're not going to be selling a bunch of guys. But I don't know if the New York Islanders are going to be able to rally and make the playoffs necessarily. And I don't know if the best move at the deadline is to add. I don't know that the Islanders are a team that I think that necessarily works for. But let me know your thoughts. Is the idea of adding players, do you think that's the right idea for the Islanders? Let me know your thoughts. Pospisil, as expected, will have a hearing tomorrow for boarding Vince Dunn. That game really descended into chaos after that happened last night. The Calgary Flames also making news today. They've claimed Joel Hanley on waivers from Dallas. Makes total sense. You trade Tanev, you claim Hanley on waivers. Hanley, again, he can be a good third-pairing defenseman. Basically purely defensive defenseman. His advanced stats have dropped from where they were a couple years ago, but he's still effective. And so I hope Hanley does well for Calgary. I enjoyed his play with the Dallas Stars. And I think it's great that he's found somewhere else to pick him up. I'm not surprised. He's a good player. Achari won't be playing tonight for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Jansen Harkins is also seen as a game-time decision. So we'll see what happens there. It does sound like Achari, it's day-to-day. Pittsburgh Penguins, a lot of expectation about who they're going to sell and what they're going to do at the deadline. I just think they're too far out in order to buy at the deadline. But there's always the chance they stand pat as well. If they don't feel like they're getting good offers for Gensel, if they feel like they're better off holding on to him, I don't think that's going to happen, but it's Pittsburgh. You never know. Pittsburgh, you just can't tell. Washington. So Pittsburgh and Washington are always tied together, and they're together on the news board. Faravari at practice in a non-contact jersey, so he is not on the verge of returning, but at the very least, he is taking those steps. Oshie has resumed skating. He wants to be back soon as well. TJ Oshie, of course, you always have to be concerned. Always have to be concerned about the possibility of injury. But he's resumed skating, so hopefully he's back soon. And the Washington Capitals have reclaimed Matthew Phillips on waivers from the Pittsburgh Penguins. So Phillips is back to the Caps, and we'll see how things go. Phillips has bounced around a bit this year. Clayton Keller could play tonight for the Arizona Coyotes. He feels good. Apparently at practice he was taking full drills and rushes and everything. It's just a matter of medical clearance. So if he gets the medical clearance to play tonight against Chicago, he'll be in the lineup. If he doesn't, he'll likely be in their next game. But it looks like Keller is ready to come back. He hasn't been out that long. It's been roughly a week. But, they could use him back in the lineup. So, waiver wire news. Guillaume Brisebois of the Vancouver Canucks has been placed on waivers to be sent down to Abbotsford, which means that he's healthy. He's good to return. Brisebois, depth defenseman. I can't see anybody picking him up, to be honest. The Minnesota Wild waive Lettieri and Lucchini, the speculation being they're getting out ahead of the trade deadline. It's possible neither of these players end up going down to the AHL. Speculation, Michael Russo throwing out there that maybe Kuznetsov is going to come into the lineup, and so you waive these guys to make room on the roster as need be. But either way, the Minnesota Wild get a little bit of flexibility should both players clear, and I think they will, because then you don't have to waive them again for 30 days. And if you trade one or the other to a team that's looking to make a push for the playoffs, wants to add depth up front, they don't have to put the player on waivers when they acquire him either. They can just send him right to the minors. So this is a good move for Minnesota. We'll see who stays, who goes, and what happens with them. A bit of a surprise for me with the Oilers. I can't argue with it, though. They've waived Sam Gagner. Gagner was really dynamic for the Oilers when he first got there this time around, but it has quieted down. So he's played 27 games for the Oilers this year. 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points. He has 197 career goals. This could be his final year, so in the event that he gets sent down, he may end up just finishing those 3 goals short of 200 in his career. But there's always that possibility somebody picks him up on waivers, looking at Detroit as a possibility, because he played in Detroit before, right? So maybe, because they've got Larkin's going to be out for a couple weeks. You know, Gagner knows systems, knows the team. It's possible. I would not be surprised to see Gagner claimed. Max Comtois signed a contract with Carolina yesterday. They've placed him on waivers today. That way he can stay in the AHL as long as he doesn't get claimed. And I can't see Comtois being claimed. Comtois is a player that a few years ago I really thought had a lot of potential offensively, and it just hasn't worked beyond that. So at any rate, let me know your thoughts regarding any of the items on this board. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event that you have not done so to this stage of the video. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.